Welcome to Hamilton County TV. I'm Perry Williams. Alongside me today is the head football coach at Noblesville High School, John Hebert. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Perry.
Coach, this week's big week, homecoming. Of course, every week when you only have 4 home games, and every week's a big week when you have a home game. But excited about this. We'll the 50-year team, the class of 1975, and I always think it's kind of funny when in looking at homecoming and everything, that 50-year-old class, there isn't one single kid that knows who anybody is in that 50-year class, if you really think about it. But let's talk a little bit about, we'll get back to football here, and let's talk a little bit about last week. We went on the road and played the Westfield Shamrocks, who last year was in the state finals. Good football team, and it looks like they got a pretty good football team again. Let's talk a little bit about that, some of the things that went on and some of the things you were working on this week.
Yeah, coming out of the Fishers game, we knew we had a lot that we needed to correct in that game, from that game, and we focused on a lot of that, as well as focusing on the challenges that Westfield posed. Obviously we did not get off to the kind of start that we're seeking, and it put us pretty soon into a hole, a 14-0 hole in the first quarter, and before we were able to force them to kick a field goal to make it 17-0, and really offensively, not much accomplished during any of that time, and defensively, I felt like we were on our heels much of the time. Westfield was able to run the football fairly well. They were able to convert on several passes. Took them only 5 plays to score their first touchdown, and they were playing a step or two faster than us, as well as that they bring to the table. So, we have to look, I think, as we did the next day at the film, at these games as opportunities for growth. And we're not in the situation that we want to be in. It's not going the way we want it to go. And we're very intentional about how we approach those situations, trying to focus on our mindset and being positive, being supportive of teammates. And I know that we made a lot of progress in that department. The guys' attitudes were really good. And we're going into halftime, close to the end of the half, and it's 24-0, and we were able to get a 3-and-out on defense and get a sack that was followed up by a shanked punt by Westfield, and we inherit the ball in almost the red zone inside the 30. And at that point, we feel pretty good that we've stayed in it to the point where we're not just giving a breakout to the Westfield offense like we had the week before, right before the half, as we discussed. But nonetheless, we weren't able to convert there, and we turned the ball over on a sack that we fumbled the ball, and then Westfield takes it the length of the field, and we tightened up enough to force them to kick a field goal, so it's 27-0 at halftime, and that leading into the third quarter and more points getting down again. I think in situations like this, you've got to really look for small victories and plays where a number of guys are doing the right thing, doing well, and something we can build on. And I'm not going to lie to you that that there weren't enough of those plays. There weren't enough small victory plays where we could point to it and say, look, to our guys, we're on the right track here in this game, in this moment. Now, they battled and they fought back and fought through, I think, a lot of emotions. There's just a lot of correcting that we're doing. There's a lot of teaching that we're doing, and we're also we've talked from the beginning about building trust, coaches, players to players, throughout our program, and that's done in the off season. But now's the real test of it all, and that is, how committed are we going to stay to the challenge and the task and the goal of building a championship level program? And that hasn't changed for us. That we're faced all the time with decisions that they hang in the balance of being long-term oriented or short-term oriented. And if it's even close, whether something is more long-term or short-term, what are we going to value here? What's more important? We're almost always going to go with the long-term. And while that is not ideal for people that have less time, it is important for us to realize that we're not going to cut corners when it comes to the building of this program. There are a lot of things we could do that might give us a little bit of short-term gain, but they may cost us in the long run. And I don't want to do anything that costs us in the long run. I know that what we are doing is progressing, and that we were on the road to building tiers to this program that is going to allow us to be in contention with these great programs that we're playing right now. We're just not there yet. And I'm thankful to have the opportunities to play these teams and see just exactly where we are. There's no ambiguity about it. It's very clear that we have a long way to go in a multitude of areas. And so, when you have that much work to do, it's, there's not enough time in the day, and we're getting after each deficiency and trying within our capabilities the best ourselves there. And I think, again, it goes back to our players being really positive and seeing the vision. I do believe that we're working with a bunch of young men and women who are positive-minded, goal-oriented, team-oriented, team-first. And, I think with a great coaching staff and a mindset like that, we're going to keep going in this direction. And we're going to show at some point here soon ourselves that we're a little bit closer than it might have felt in that game.
Absolutely. Let's switch over, because we have homecoming here this week. Zionsville Eagles come to town. Head coach Scott Turnquist is over there, and he's in his 7th season. It's hard to believe it's been 7 years for Scott over there at Zionsville. But they come in this game, same record we got, 1-3. Both teams needing a victory bad, to be quite honest. Mm-hmm. And let's talk a little bit about that and some of the things that you feel much better after, because you were saying off the air today that practices went pretty good here in the first 3 days of the week. So let's talk a little bit and focus on the Zionsville Eagles.
Scott Turnquist is a good friend of mine, and we coached together for several years, and he was my offensive coordinator at Carmel, and we went to the state. We won a state championship together in 2016, and then we were runners-up in 2018 before he left for Zionsville. So just so much respect for him as a man and a leader. And I know how he runs his program, just in a first-class, top-notch, elite way. And so I see the film, and I just see his trademark all over it, just the way I know he has high expectations and standards for his players, and then what a great technical coach he is, and just his spirit and demeanor is what you see in his players. And when you think about the HCC, you think first about Brownsburg and Westfield being the two state finalists from last year, and then you think Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern, but Zionsville's a team that, from a fundamental standpoint and a toughness standpoint, they're near the top, and so I know we have our hands full with this challenge, and like you said, we're both coming in not satisfied with how things have gone, and we're treating this like every other game, and I think that that's a change for some folks here. The kids, we don't get up for one game and maybe less for another. Every game is really important. Every game requires our full attention. Zionsville brings unique challenges. They're very good defensively. Their defensive line specifically, and their front seven is just tough, and they play really hard and create turnovers. And last week they had a strip ball, forced fumble that they recovered and ran 50 some odd yards for a touchdown to put them in the lead against Franklin Central, and their defense really kept them in the game. So we're going to need to be able to improve in the areas that we haven't been very strong against Fishers and Westfield, and even to some degree against Homestead. We've got to run the football. We've got to protect the quarterback, and they don't make it easy on you. So we've been working a lot, both against scout units as well as our number one unit going against our number one unit, but running Zionsville's offense and defense so we can get a better look there, trying to really upgrade the quality of the look that we're getting in preparation. But I expect to think, again, we're going to continue to have a lot to learn. We've got a lot to learn from this game and the next one and the next one. We've got to learn how to stay in the fight and answer the bell, take a punch, deliver a punch. And what we've done here with those last 2 weeks is get back on our heels and take multiple punches before we throw another one back at them, or let alone land it. Speaking metaphorically, I mean it's like a boxing match in that you're trying to wear down your opponent, and you're trying to strike, tear down his defenses and weaken him. And we've got to be able to hold up to a lot of that, and we've got to be able to deliver. So defensively, we're going to need to stop the run. They have one of the best running backs in the state, Sam Manna, who is a 3-year starter. He's a very tough player and really makes their whole team go. And then I think Coach Turnquist just does an amazing job of finding holes in defenses that he can teach his players how to exploit. And so I expect them to be able to throw the ball well. They've got 2 quarterbacks that both have experience, and I know they're a little banged up as we are. So a little less importance on that, a little more importance on following through with the game plan. Can we do that at a higher efficiency rate than they can? If we can, then we need to pool that into either answering or staying ahead and delivering, to put them in some uncomfortable positions. It's something that we've got to learn how to do.
Yeah, because the one thing about it is with playing Fishers and Westfield, we come up against 2 very high octane offenses, okay, and a very strong defense. I mean, Westfield for years has been known for their defense. So this ought to be a good battle, and the important thing I think it is turnovers, special teams. I mean, those could play a much, much bigger part in who wins or who loses in this ball game.
Yeah, I would venture to say the last 2 weeks we have played our special teams units at a high level, at a level I think on par with the top teams in the conference. Our punt unit in particular, our kickoff unit. 2 weeks ago against Fishers, we had 2 long kickoff returns. Our kickoff return unit was not nearly as efficient against Westfield, but we're establishing those things. As badly as those games went, if our special teams were not as strong as they were, it would have been worse. We would not have been able to muster much. You know, we were able to do some things because of our special teams. Now against Zionsville, their special teams are really good, so it's that challenge again. It's that battle that we're used to now already. But like I said, we've got to turn that into momentum or conditions that allow our offense and defense to take it another step, 2 steps, 3 steps, to really start putting some things together, just as eluded us these last 2 weeks.
Absolutely, Coach. You know, with homecoming coming up here and the parade tomorrow and everything, it's sort of course, you've dealt with this a lot being a coach, okay, but you have to really keep people on cycle on what you're doing, because your routine is totally different tomorrow than it is in every game before and after this one, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at school. How do you talk to your players about those type of things? Because it's all about football for them. I mean, a football team can't really, a good football team doesn't have time to enjoy all the festivities, which is sad. They're here to play football.
That's a great point, and that is exactly the message, that we're here to play football, and our job's to win the game. People, they prioritize homecoming because it's a uniting of past and present, and people that come back want to know that, you know, that things are in good working order and we're on the right track. And the way to really make that statement is to come out ready to play and focused and opportunistic. And again, we intend to win the game. That's our goal. And so, you know, I am familiar with a traditional homecoming approach. I think every school does it slightly different. I think Noblesville is known for a great homecoming parade and a lot of support and a lot of turnout for it. And I'm excited to see that. Being new to Noblesville and loving the community like I do, I want to see that. I want to be a part of that. I want our team to be immersed in that. But at the same time, we are going to have to make some choices about what we're able to engage in and what we're not. It's going to be over 85 degrees at the time of the parade, and we're in the sun, and you know, Zionsville is not. They're in the air conditioning, and they're resting, they're getting focused, and so we're going to have to make some adjustments to what we're doing to lower the volume of distractions outside of the parade. The parade's going to be what it is. You know, our behavior is a factor there. If we're in a kind of a lower key mode, I don't want guys too excited. I don't want them getting worked up or expending too much energy. It's just let's just calm it down, and a lot of water, a lot of hydrating, and you know, and then we're going to have to try to get them off their feet just a little bit at another time, just to try to balance that out a little bit. But it comes down to it when the ball's kicked off, it's us and them, and you know, we have to be ready to really go on the attack and put our best foot forward, and you know, so every bit of messaging is going to be about conservation until it switches over to the time is now. We have to go. Let's get after them.
Well, I appreciate you talking about Zionsville and homecoming and everything, but for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about kind of the unsung heroes of the people that helps you run this program. And I think you have a few more today that we have to talk about, which are a very, very, all parts of it is a very, very vital in the success of your program, even on the off seasons.
Maybe even especially when you talk about a 12-month program, which is what high school football in 6A and Indiana is now. And I think that we're on the forefront in the nation as an area where high school football is played, where it's such a top priority. It's not like this everywhere, but it is in Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, where schools have full-time strength coaches. And we are fortunate to have one of the best strength coaches with a long background in collegiate football, strength and conditioning, as well as other high schools, large high schools. Tony Diepa is our strength coach here at the school. He's not a football coach. He doesn't work specifically with the football program, but he caters our off-season workouts toward what's best practices for football, and he's been instrumental in shaping the culture of the team and the resilience of the players, let alone the building of their bodies and the emphasis on injury prevention and speed and agility. And I mean, when I got here in January, the workouts had already begun, and Coach Diepa was already organizing them and leading them. And I came and watched. I didn't set up for me to come in and watch my new team in their workout environment, and I was impressed. I mean, it was outstanding, and I could see right away that Tony and I were going to really get along well and work well together and see eye to eye, and that's absolutely been proven the case. He's a true professional. The kids they thrive off of his energy. He's very high energy, very demanding, and his impact is spread throughout the athletic department here at the school. All the success that Noblesville is having, it's not an accident, and he's focused on every sport, every athlete, building their capabilities in the weight room, their fundamentals, and core movements. And football is just a unique one because of the numbers, how many guys it takes to really get there. And that's why Tony also has an assistant named Kelly Cox. She is our assistant strength coach and just a great compliment to Tony. Expertise in a wide variety of areas. And she's new to this environment, but not new to the field. And Kelly also spends a lot of time with us out on the football field and is really the link between strength and conditioning staff and the football staff. So she's one of our coaches. And out here, you see her leading warm-ups. You see her out at practice and just filling a variety of roles and just being a great person and great support for the players, for everyone in the program. So I know that the strength and conditioning aspect to this is only going to get more important. We're priding ourselves on getting stronger throughout the season, and then when this season's over, we will get right to work building for the next season and building our team. Every day that we are going, we are theoretically the weakest we're going to be. We're going to keep getting stronger, keep getting better, and as we bring new people into the program, they'll get acclimated in that environment. And then we have the we have the athletic training side, which works through community hospital, and is I couldn't imagine operating without this group of professionals on our side. Gerald Mickler is the main athletic trainer for us, and he is a veteran in the sport of football athletic training. So he really understands the unique challenges that football poses in terms of just the normal injuries that or bumps and bruises that guys get. He's always working on rehab and treatment and making himself available for guys to come in and be seen, and he's looking for their progress, and occasionally he has to hold some people out and allow them to heal. And but I've been super impressed with Gerald. Everybody calls him G. He's just a great person to work with, true professional, and between he and Tony and Kelly, there's just a lot of expertise there that our student athletes are able to rely on and know that they're being given the best knowledge and advice that they can get. And a lot of times somebody has something happen and it's G that does the initial assessment, and then they go to see a professional for the MRI or the X-ray or the doctor's opinion, and sometimes the doctors come here. When talking about a big program like this, there's just a lot
going on in there.
There is, and it's a constant thing. I feel like I'm getting updates every hour about where guys are, what their status is. It's just one of those factors that is part of it that you got to always be in the back of your mind aware that this guy or that guy may not be with you. Sometimes it can be a large number. The last of the unsung crew has got to be Tim Tank Blevins. And Tim is everybody calls him Tank. I was introduced to him as Tank when I first met him. He's trimmed up quite a bit, Perry.
Yeah, he's not quite a tank anymore, but he was at one time. So
yeah, he's I don't know, he's more stealth now than but the Tank nickname's got to be hard to get rid of. He is a jack of all trades, fills so many different roles. As an assistant coach, he is he focuses on the operations side. He works with the managers. We've got a full 8-member film crew. We're filming everything that we do. We use drones in practices. We've got a camera system that rises over 30 feet that we use during games. We film from the press box. We upload that. There's just constant uploading of data and video going in. And if you walked into their office and saw that they had out, it's got a total small fortune, just the budget that it took to purchase all these things and maintain them. And and the kids are just phenomenal. And maybe at a later date we'll talk through some of them, just what they're doing to move the needle on our program and on a daily basis. But Tank's a guy that's been here through so many previous head coaches too. So he's kind of serves as my reference point, my local historian. He had 3 sons play in the program. I really, really trust him, lean on him to steer me the right way in understanding the community and understanding, what has worked in the past, what needs to be done. And he's just such a positive guy too, just a lot of fun to be around. And wife Tanya works here in the front office at the school, so they're just Noblesville people through and through. And we talked about this last week. Just one of the first things I wanted to do was make sure that I got enough real solid Noblesville people on the staff so that I knew I was doing the right things. and Tank's definitely been that for us, and I appreciate him greatly.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Coach. Well, I got a couple announcements, and this is the next 2 weeks. Okay, on Tuesday through Thursday, I will be out of town, so we won't have a show. But as soon as we get back, as soon as I get back, we'll start the shows back up again. So has nothing to do with Coach or anything like that. It's an opportunity for my wife and I to take a little short trip for 2 weeks in a row, and we got to keep Mama happy.
I'm happy to hear that, and you have to keep Kathy happy. She is very important to this community and program, and it's important to take time and get away and just do fun new things.
Yeah, but you notice that we will be here on Friday night, so
yes. Well, that I love.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Coach, and I appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow at homecoming, and I'm kind of excited for it because there's some people that I have not seen for years that will be back here in the 1975 team, the 50-year team, and in fact, I'm getting so old now that they were in middle school when I was going through as a senior. But it's always good to see these people.
That's exciting, and as well as the 25-year team.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 2000 team, which won the regional.
Yes.
So that's and I remember coaching against that team. Many great players and just a great program, and so I'm excited to have them back in the building, and that adds to our team, knowing that they're a part of the community and that it's important that we're building something that everyone can be proud of.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks a lot. Go Millers.
Go Millers. Thanks, Perry.